What's up everyone, Cameron here from Community Boost, and I just want to take a few minutes and reflect on this year's Classy Collaborative, the Collaborative 2019, what went down, the big themes for the social sector, and how honestly it was my favorite collaborative to date. For those of you that are new to the collaborative, it is basically, in my opinion, the best nonprofit conference out there. Especially if we're looking through, a lens of marketing and fundraising and growth, it's the best. And one of the reasons I love it is it's 3 days. You really build community. There's literally collaboration is why it exists and how the space operates. It's not just like classroom style, people passing each other like ships in the night. That's not how it goes. It's like you really come out of there with relationships, especially when you go in year after year. It was awesome. This year's collaborative was really good. I can't wait to get into some of the big themes and highlights that are going to affect our space here in 2019 and 2020. Here at Community Boost, we always use the collaborative really as a pulse of, where is our own company at and how are we serving the nonprofit sector. This was the 6th collaborative ever. We've been to 5. And in our first collaborative, we were really just trying to see, do nonprofits want digital marketing help? And are they looking to invest in that? And we found our first customers. In our second collaborative, we started talking about this thing called the Google Ad Grant. Our third collaborative, we had a small sponsorship, a slightly bigger presence, brought more team members. In our fourth, we were moderating panels. We rolled deep with like 6 team and met so many high impact orgs. And then honestly, this collaborative was really game changing for Community Boost and honestly just a mission moment. We're just honored to have the opportunity to talk about Google Ad Grants and how it can scale online fundraising with search to a room of upwards of 300. I got to give a big shout out and a big thanks to Michelle, the head of Google Ad Grants Global, to Nadia from the Statue of Liberty Ellis Island Foundation, and from Calvin from the Trevor Project, and to my favorite moderator ever, Charlie. And then I sat on this panel as well, and we just talked ad grants to a big audience. And what was so cool is we then had so many conversations the rest of the conference, one-on-one, diving in deep, giving ad grant help. We had the Google team there too, providing like reactivation and additional tracking support. It was just so fun and so cool. And I can nerd out on the ad grant stuff all day, but it was just awesome, and we're excited to hit it again, to go back. And if you enjoyed the Google Ad Grant support, let us know, and we'll be sure to hopefully show up in that light in the future at this conference and maybe others. But also there were some really big themes that I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about that came out of this year's collaborative too. I think one of the biggest themes that we were really picking up was this need to further diversify funding and channels of funding for our organizations. We talk, this fact I found interesting is only, I think, out of giving, only 5% is made up from corporate giving, and yet you hear so many boards talk about it. And I've always wondered, is the juice worth to squeeze on that in some capacity? And we talked about tax laws, and there was a lot of conversation around donor advised funds. And the one thing I really wanted to highlight was this conversation, and it was really cool to hear everyone talking about the power of social media fundraising tools, especially on the Facebook front. The Facebook stage that they did was incredibly enlightening and really lines up with what's happening with our client roster as well. We've seen tremendous results with Facebook and Instagram ads. It's definitely a part of the marketing mix we can't forget. And it's really cool to hear that Classy is rolling out an API with the platform too, which will be really fun. We can't wait to just roll up our sleeves further there too. That was really interesting. What else was going on? There was a big conversation around recurring giving and how it's just mandatory and a must and just so powerful. And the data was incredible to see. I think an average recurring donor now is worth 6 times more than a one-time donation, and how they also, it's almost like a leading indicator that you can drive more future one-time gifts on top of the recurring donation. It doesn't prevent that from year-end campaigns, or if they're compelled to give from World Water Day or whatever it is that you're running. That was really neat to see. And then overall, man, like the Classy Collaborative just inspires me and inspires our team. And they really brought it hard this year. You know, there was speeches from, Rick Ridgway from Patagonia, the Challenge Athletes Foundation, the Life is Good team were so amazing. I mean, these are some of the best speeches I've ever heard in my life. And they would end the days like that, which just really inspires the entire audience to just like open up vulnerability, have more conversations, and just like get to know each other. And I know so many people walk out of this conference more connected and with just more ideas of how they can really live into their mission. Again, my favorite conference. I'm not just trying to, kiss butt over here. You guys definitely have to attend in 2020. They announced next year's Classy Collaborative will be back in Boston, so be sure to attend. I think the last thing for me on it was there's a lot of panels on impact measurement as well. And that's one of these things that's still feeling really early in the social sector and doing it really well, right? Like we have kind of the pre-data work, the during data collection work, and the post-data collection work. And that's one of the reasons at Community Boost we are building out a impact measurement consulting service. So if that's something you're interested in, everyone's just got their spreadsheets and they're doing it pretty haphazardly, to be honest. And we'd love to talk to you about that too. But nonetheless, do not miss next year's Classy Collaborative if you did. I hope this recap was helpful. If there's anything else that really stood out for you in this year's collaborative, let us know, drop it in the comments. See you next time.